Evening, y'all. Gotta burn some midnight oil. I got a couple of night shifts I gotta work the next few days, so trying to stay up and as long as I can tonight to go into work tomorrow night. Doing a little preliminary work on this new bike. Let's see. So there was a complete front end I got. Here's the triple trees. Old Mr. Suzuki emblem gone. I cut the key switch bracket off. I still got some grinding down to do on this. I kind of had to stop because it was getting late enough. I didn't want to be running a grinder out here aggravating my next door neighbors. So the front end came with the axle, both the clip-ons, and actually the left side caliper, which is funny because that's the one I need. So that worked out. There's the master cylinder, the whole brake system. It's got the there's no throttle housing. I can get a brake lever. It's for a 01 GSXR 750. So there's the forks. They're actually in fairly decent shape. I don't know if that's from where somebody's tried to grab them, or they looks like they punched them or something. I don't know. I gotta put new fork seals in them. You can excuse me, you can see where the fender, where it was mounted on there, was rubbing the snot out of it. I'm gonna take some degreaser and scrub those lugs real good, and I'm probably gonna paint them with some kind of a gloss. I might even gloss black or hammer tone or something. I'm not gonna black this bike out like the other one. This one's actually I'm gonna go with a gray gray hammer tone color with blue, like metallic blue bodywork. And the wheels, I got a pair of GSXR 750 wheels coming. The back one is missing the sprocket carrier, but that stuff's easy enough to find on eBay. So, but I got a good package deal on both wheels, all three rotors, spacers and all that. I want to say it was $250. It was $279, I think. Okay, moving on. Let's see. So here's my motor mounts, a battery tray. This right here is the stuff that came from the factory swing arm. And the races that were in the swing arm for these two bearings. This dude, I don't know if that came from there or not. It kind of fell when I was picking this stuff up. I don't know if it was in there or not. I don't really see where it fits. If it ends up needing to be there, I'll have it. This stuff's all been polished up a little bit, wire wheeled, cleaned. So I did. Whoa, I'm getting tired already. I did send in a deposit for my swing arm, chromoly swing arm. So what I got to do to put this front end on here. So this is one of the races that came off of this because it actually had, I'm gonna call them radial ball bearings. So you guys can see in a cage instead of a Timken taper bearing like the Harley comes with. Now these are not steering stem bearings. These are actually crankshaft bearings, old crankshaft bearings from where I put the new set of flywheels in that bike. So all I got to do is go to a local, like Motion Industries, or there's a local place that deals in bearings and whatnot, and get a tapered bearing that matches this ID right here on this, and they will slip over this. The top and the bottom bearing both have the same ID, so it takes the same bearing top and bottom. depending on what size they are, I might have to press this stem out and polish it a little bit to get them to fit. But the good news is, a lot of these projects, when you're putting a sport bike front end on a Harley, you end up, if you guys look, you'll see that by the time I get those two bearings in there, that nut will come down on it with a washer. What was I saying? These things, I can't remember the name of the place, but they might make custom-made steering stems to adapt crotch rocket front ends to Harleys, and they are like $450 for that stem. Lucky for me, as long as I get a pair of these that actually fit this right here and down here, this will be a bolt-on deal on that Sportster. Now I will have to, I'll probably have to put a couple of studs in that triple clamp for steering stops, so that I can make sure that I keep the front end from hitting the tank shell or whatever I end up with on there. After checking out the frame, I've actually cut, let's see, I cut that front steering lock off already and smoothed that out. I cut this top regulator bracket out. I was gonna cut this bottom one, but it's kind of tied into the motor mount tabs a little bit. Kind of helps support those, so I think I'm just gonna leave that one there. Again, I started working on cutting that kickstand off of there, because this one's gonna have a purpose-built pop-up stand, goes under the swing arm. So as this one here is not gonna have a kickstand on it either. I'm gonna make a pop-up stand for this bike as well, but until I widen that swing arm to put that katana wheel on it, it's sitting over there. I'm not gonna bother. Excuse me. Let's see. I think that's about it for now. Once I get the wheels, once they come in, I get me a couple bearings. I'm gonna mock up this front end, and then of course the long arduous wait for the swing arm, so then I can verify the wheelbase and make any modifications I need to assure that it is no longer than 68 inches. I gotta decide whether I want to try to keep the conventional Sportster look by using a fiberglass Sportster replica fender, and then of course these are going to have to be cut off somewhere, and then you can't mill, well I suppose you could, but I can't put this frame on a mill anywhere, but these will have to be cut at an angle as to make them straight back, and make some aluminum struts. Took back and fastened the fender on, but again, that's with the swing arm, the shocks, and once I get it rolling on wheels with shocks, then I can start working on that kind of stuff. I think I'm going to either try to buy or make an aluminum fuel cell that fits under a tank shell, a fiberglass tank shell, a little small peanut tank shell or something. And then probably fabricate an aluminum seat pan, probably weld some kind of little loop right here to support the back of it, you know, so I don't, something that looks better than that. Which that don't look bad, but anyway, that's all up in the air as of right now. Like I said, once I get it mocked up on wheels, first order of business is to get those bearings so I can mount up this whole front end. That way I can verify the length for the wheelbase to make it correct. Get that to my fabricator so the swing arm comes to me right. I don't know I did get an oil tank with this. Got a few little dents in it though. It's not the best looking one. I don't know. It's got a little dent right there. I don't know. I guess I need to look inside that thing and see if there's any tubes and see what all those oil lines actually do. I'm sorry to say I don't fully understand how all that works. I know it's a dry sump oil system. This hose would drop down, and I know this because I replumbed this other bike. So this hose will come down, it tees off, and where it clamps to the frame, your drain, and the other side of it goes to one of the ports on the oil pump to pick up oil. So one of these is a return, one of them is a scavenge, and then this one would be a supply. What I don't know is what they actually do inside this tank. So I might try to fabricate something out of lightweight aluminum that's a lot lighter than that. I don't know how much money I'm gonna be able to throw at this thing to get real exotic, but I don't have much of a choice because in order to be competitive, I need to keep this bike right around 400 pounds. So I'm going to have to get pretty extreme with this stuff. That being said, if I do decide to do that and then maybe mount the battery down in the swing arm, then I can not put the box on there, battery box, and I can cut some of this, more of this stuff off with the frame to get rid of that weight. I don't know for sure what these two are for down here, but I'm probably going to leave them in there just for the rigidity, because the engine doesn't mount in the middle here anywhere. It just mounts back here and then here, and of course right here and here. So there's nothing in the middle there. I probably would be a good idea to leave those in there. So I'm not going to take those out. This right here, this bump stop for the kickstand, and we'll cut that off. Yeah, it should be pretty fun to ride. I'm just, like I said, excuse me, this is just a preliminary start on this thing. Fiddling with some pieces, parts. I gotta take that and go get me some bearings that actually fit that stem. These aren't off by much, just enough where it won't fit. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get the calipers out and compare, but, and then of course I gotta get some parts to fix this thing. Looks like them pawl pins are kind of tore up, and this plate's all janked out of whack. That clip. So this transmission's in really good shape. I'm gonna, hopefully that other one works out in the bracket bike, because I'd like to put this back cut one in this pro bike. So anyway, guys, that's just a quick look at some of the stuff. I will post another video when I at least get the front end mocked up on it, I guess, so y'all can see how that turns out. Try to do this one step at a time and be a little more thorough on this build than I was the last one. So hopefully it's more informative and entertaining. So I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the evening, fellas, and watch a little bit of TV. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.